Well, it's Monday morning, and we've got a 1971, I think it is, Chevy C10 sitting here. Came in over the weekend. That is getting, well, the treatment. Going to get lowered. I think he said this one hadn't run in a while. We'll try to figure out how long a while is. Man, the body looks pretty good. Got a little bit of rust down there in the bottom of the fender, but that's not too bad. I mean, the door here and the side looks really good. The old tires aren't hitting on much, are they? Man, I gotta fix my little thing here on my phone that keeps getting in our way. Sorry about that. The bed is there. Got some rust in it. Yeah, it's gonna have to get some rocker panel work. Seat's already loose. That's a good thing because we're putting a fuel tank in it. There's the fuel tank up there, I guess, in that cardboard box. Now, this is the old North Carolina inspection stickers. Is that North Carolina? That may not be. Seems like North Carolina was all in one sticker, but that says 90 something. I don't know. It's gone. Well, looks like it's folded under. Maybe we can see. Oops, sorry. Maybe we can roll that up and see. 96. 1996. Most likely the last time that this thing run. There's a really nice umbrella in here. Yeah. Find all kind of weird stuff in these old trucks that people leave behind. I mean, here's some deer antlers. How in the world am I going to get this thing a little further up on the lift? I guess I'll have to use that skid steer. Let's look under the hood and see what we got here. Oh, we got an inline 6-cylinder. Wah, wah, wah. What's the oil look like? I was really hoping this was a V8. The oil looks really clean. Well, it's got fresh wires on it, almost like somebody has already been, fresh distributor cap, somebody's already been playing with it. Looks like the original carburetor. Somebody put a belt on it. Yeah, somebody's been messing around with it. 1972, actually. Conforms to 1972 emissions. All right, so anyway, 1972 short bed C10. Will it run? Nobody knows. What will it need under the truck? We'll have to get under there and see. I got to get it pushed up here a little further so I can get it on the lift. Now, a funny thing about this one is that I've already been informed it's got a 5-lug rear or 5-lug front and a 6-lug rear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So somebody has swapped this rear end out in the past. For whatever reason, nobody knows. But we've got a 5-lug rear end here for a C10 that we're going to put in this one. Now this one, somebody has in the past welded some dang blocks to it. So somehow I'm going to have to figure out. Man, I mean, they really welded them on there too. I'm going to have to probably, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I may just have to cut these perches completely off and just put a new set of perches on. Darn it. I mean, just daggum tire skids on the concrete. Looks like maybe the brakes were locked up. And the last 2 6-cylinders we've had have had I've had cracked heads. The last 2 inline 6s, if you remember. That rear end over there is not the same. One difference is the panhard bar has a flange built into the rear end that it bolts to, and this does not have that boss for it to bolt to. And then the mount perches are welded to this rear end at an angle to meet those trailing arms. And these are actually, somebody has messed with these, but they're not correct. This rear end's probably like out of a square body, or I mean, I don't know what we pulled it out of. I don't remember, but it don't have the correct mounting points. Okay, so on the 71, we've got so much to do, but being that the front is 5-lug and the back is 6-lug, we've got to get this converted over to 5-lug. So they make a conversion kit. In other words, they sell the axles and the drums to change this 6-lug to a 5-lug. No, you'd have to pull the axles out of the housing and put the new 5-lug axles in. That kit's unavailable right now through our supplier. So the only other option is to go ahead and use this square body rear end, which we can do, but we just have to cut these perches off of this rear differential and weld them onto that one. But the guy's looking to see how soon those axles would be available. So in the meantime, I won't tear that apart yet. I won't do the lowering or anything yet. I'll just go ahead and get the truck back on the ground, roll it back so I can get the seat out and get the fuel tank out. Go ahead and get the new fuel tank in and get new fuel up to the engine, and we'll go ahead and see if we can get that engine running. Every one of these tires are just rotten and flat, so we've got spares. I'm just going to put, we've got a couple 6-lug rims back there, plenty of 5-lug rims, so we'll get some good tires on it, get it on the ground and get it rolled back, because I can't get in there. This lift is narrow. Can't get in there to get the fuel tank out until till I can roll it back. Can't hardly roll it very well with these flat tires. And they're not just flat. I mean, they are never going to hold air again type of flat. Yeah. Well, while we got the front wheels off, we'll go ahead and make note that the brake pads are super, super thin. Yeah, they're done. Oh yeah, there's nothing Nothing left. All right, I got this thing sitting down on some rollers and we've got it rolled back. We can actually get in this thing now and get the seat out of it so I can get the fuel tank out of it. And we'll see what all kind of neat stuff we find in here. Looks like hasn't really anybody gone through it yet. I'm not sure if it should concern me that there's a gasket kit in here. I'm not sure what all's in it. Looks like just valve cover and side lifter cover gaskets maybe. Hopefully. Yeah. I'm not sure. All right. Well, we're pulling out some stuff. We got a gasket kit. Got a oil cap. Looks like a brand new one. It was in this Napa box. So there might be some good stuff in here. I'm happy the seat's already unbolted. That's part of the hardest part of this. Replacing this fuel tank is getting the seat bolts out half the time. I don't know what this is. What is that? Some kind of a console cooler. It's like some kind of aftermarket little in between the seats console, and it's a cup holder, warm, cool, off. So you plug it into your cigarette lighter and it's a little cooler. Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe it works. I'm sure we'll just throw it away. But for right now, my biggest concern is just getting the seat out so that we can continue on with this project. I don't want to spend forever in a day over here, because this is my job, so to speak. So yeah, there's the antlers, small antlers. Yeah, this thing's got all kind of, tell them what we're going to find in here. Okay, so we got the seat out of it. And it's not too awful bad, but I'm sure he's probably going to want to recover that. Let's see what we got good in here. Well, let's see. We got an oil filter wrench. Old oil filter wrench. That's cool. Yeah, that's still good. We got, I was kind of suspicious. We've got a 6-cylinder head gasket. Does that mean this one's been replaced? I wonder. I mean, why is it green? Yeah, head gasket's been replaced. I can see it. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good enough film on it or not, but you can see between the head gasket and the block, there's a pretty fresh looking head gasket there. Yeah, intake gaskets are fresh. So That kind of concerns me. Because usually on these 6 cylinders, you don't just get away with replacing the head gasket. I hope it's not got a cracked head. All right, well, anyway, let's see what else we got in here. We got a ratchet. Ain't no good. The head's broken out of it. Oh, we got our tire tools. We've got another oil filter wrench. Hey, these are good made in the USA oil filter wrenches. We'll keep those. Let's see, we've got a spark plug wire. We've got an old jack. We have got an old exhaust gasket for 6-cylinder. We have got some of the trim. I don't know if it belongs on this truck. I'm sure it probably does. Oh, that's like, where does that go? It's got a curve in it, a real nice curve. That goes somewhere. We walk around the truck and look and see. Let's see, I don't remember on these trucks anywhere that really curves like that. That's a weird piece. Oh, we've got an umbrella. Very nice, very nice. Probably open that up, there'd be stink bugs in it. What else can we find here? I'm sure there's some old change in here somewhere. There's gotta be. Oh, there's a Christmas tree angel. Let's see what else we got in here. Oh, there's a flasher. Just some couple of flashers. He must have had some blinker issues. That's kind of disturbing a little bit. Excuse me. A big magnet. Yeah, that's good. What else do we have? I don't see any change. That's odd. Somebody done come through here and got all the change. Some scavenger came through here looking for old change already. All right, let's go to the other side. What do we got over here on this side? A lot of leaves, for sure. Okay. What do we got here? Some kind of a Dalmatian print. Old shop rag. What is this? Sometimes these old pieces of paper will give you some history or information. I just don't see any change. Usually these old trucks and cars, you'll find some change, some old change. There's some falling out of people's pockets. It's just real odd to not find change. So somebody's already been through this truck and got my change. Let's see what's in the glove box. Alright, what do we got in here? We got some spark plugs. Oh, we got some, what's in there? Some receipts. Yeah, a bunch of old registrations. Some gloves that I am not going to put my hands in. Some kind of dots a valve that is split. It is probably an intake. No, that's an exhaust valve. Let's see. Square stock. A pen of ink. Form a gasket sealant. Let's see how old that is. Permatex, hard as a rock. Okay. Man, where's my change? No change. Oh well. Somebody done come through here and got my change. I guess we'll go ahead and just get this fuel tank changed then. Get this fuel tank out of here. I don't have any clue if there's fuel in it or not. It sounds pretty empty. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and get that out. Get the new one in it. While we got it out, we'll go ahead and blow through the fuel line. I'll go ahead and take the fuel line loose up here down here at the fuel pump. We'll blow through that system and make sure there's nothing that's gonna be in that fuel to get into our carburetor. The fuel pump, that fuel pump has been replaced. It's not that old looking. Somebody has been messing around with it, so I don't know. I really hope. Did I pull the oil stick on this one yet? I don't remember. Let me get the radiator loose and see what. Ooh, that no look too good down there. I bet you this thing's got a cracked cylinder head. Let's see what the oil looks like. The oil. So, I think I pulled that one yesterday. That oil looks not too bad. But that's some that's some coagulated mess down in there in that radiator. I guess we're gonna find out, aren't we? Right there, look at that hose. That's gonna leak. Oh well. We'll do what we can do. All right, so we did get the new fuel pump put in. I mean, not fuel pump, fuel tank put in. It's all in and mounted. Well, no, I haven't mounted the bolts yet. I did mount the bolts, but I hadn't tightened them. So I need, this tank had this new sending unit that I put in has a threaded outlet. So I'll have to change that around a little bit. I need to get a nipple for it. Went ahead and got the new rubber grommet for the fill tube in there. Got the new cap on, so that all looks good. I think I'm gonna call it quits for today. I got some other stuff going on. I need to leave this shop, but tomorrow I'll get the line loose from the fuel pump, blow through and make sure everything's clear, and go ahead and get all this plumbed. And we'll get a battery under the hood of this thing and see if we can't get the motor turning over and get some fuel to it. Somebody's already put an HEI in it, so I'm sure this thing's probably going to have spark. But I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it with the way that coolant looks in this radiator, and just the fact that I've got these old gaskets that I found in the cab. Somebody has been through what we have already been through. And I'm hoping that they weren't having problems, because if they were, we could have another cracked cylinder head on our hands, which is a real pain. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so on the 71, I do have the fuel tank mounted and it's plumbed. I'm gonna go up to the, I took the air hose and blew through the fuel line all the way to the front. Got the fuel line off of the pump, and it did just blow a bunch of dust out. So we know it was dry as a bone. We'll go ahead and get this air breather off and see what's under here, see what we're looking at. I hope it's not real bad dirty in that carburetor. I mean, it's not on there very well. We'll see. Don't look too bad. Have to get that off the air breather. They got these things on there with all kind of hoses. Let me work on that for a minute and then we'll get back to it. All right, so we got the air breather off and it doesn't look too bad down in there. The throttle moves, so it's not froze up or anything. So I guess we'll put a battery in it. There's the ground. There's our positive. So we'll put a battery in it and see if we can catch anything on fire. So you got a key in it. It does have a key in it. That turns, it works. I'm pretty sure we're in neutral. All right, where was our battery? Got a battery here. Oh boy, these things don't get any lighter. Okay. Battery. You know, maybe we should flip that battery around so the terminals aren't so close to the frame. Okay, so we'll put our positive on first. Always put your positive on first and leave your ground for last. Of course, that's not going to reach. Doggone it. Ground didn't reach, so we'll have to flip the battery. That's fine. I don't like having those terminals so close to the frame in case that battery flips. Of course, it does still have its hold down, so we'll, before we go driving or anything, we'll bolt her down real good. All right, so there's our ground. Well, let's see, I'll do a positive first. Yep, Let's see, he's got, set my tripod there. He's got his positive wire run into that junction, which is proper. All right, so hook the negative up. Don't hear anything coming on or running. Okay, let's go. Now we can go in the truck and turn the key. See if the engine will actually turn over. No, absolutely nothing. Maybe we have to push the clutch in. Nope, still nothing. Okay. Maybe we need to just hook our Let me see if we're getting power. Let's turn that key back on. We'll see if we're getting power to our distributor. That into our negative. And let's see what we're getting here. No, wait a minute. I've seen it flash. Okay, so we got power to the coil side of the distributor. Okay. But for some reason, we're just not getting anything to the starter, which is fine. We can jump that starter with our remote switch for now just to get it running. Because there is no telling what's going on with that ignition switch, why it's not kicking the engine over. It could be, oh, I see, it could be wires ripped out of the back of it. It's just, there is no telling. I mean, it all looks in place. Could be a fuse, but, oh, there it goes. There it goes. Okay. So we do got something. Switch must not have been connecting good. It might be a little corrosive. Let's hook our remote switch to the starter anyhow, just so we can run the whole show from out here under the hood. Now I got mess all over me. Let's get this phone on the tripod as well. Let's get this, of course I'm gonna be in your way, but we're gonna try to hook this remote switch up. So we got, all right, there we go. Very good. We've got remote starter. Motor turns over and sounds nice. Let's just squirt a little jet fuel down in the carburetor and see if it'll crank up. Probably will. I mean, it's like I said, I don't know really exactly how long it's been since this one actually run, because somebody's been messing with it. Somebody could have already had it running recently. Let's see what that little bit of go juice right there will do. It will do nothing if it won't turn, doggone it. Man. My wire jumped off. Oh, my starter. Okay. I already see one problem. That carburetor's leaking a little bit from where I poured the carburetor, the fuel in there. There it tried to go. All right. Well, that answers that question. It's gonna run. got a really good exhaust leak. What I'll do now is I think I'll use that electric pump that we had on the last video. I got electric pump set up here. I think we'll go ahead and fill this tank up with fuel, and I'll pull the fuel line off of this carburetor and go ahead and pull that fuel through the pump up to the carburetor and just go ahead and get all that primed. And then maybe it'll just take off and run on its own. Well, it's a real good thing I pulled the fuel line off the carburetor and pulled this filter off here, or this screen. It's got all kind of mess up in there, if you can see. So we'll clean that out. Also, carburetor has just got all kind of, see if I can get y'all in there, all kind of dirt in there. I'm gonna flush that out with some brake cleaner and just see if I can get that out. I hate, it'd be terrible to push all that up in there, all that up into the bowl. Of course, it's probably full of all that kind of junk anyhow, but at least we'll have the entrance there clean. Now she's clear. See, if we would have just put the fuel to it, it would have tried to, even if the fuel could have got through it, it would have tried to push that up into the rest of the carburetor. And I mean, you just want to always, when you're cranking something that's been sitting this long, go ahead and clean what you can clean, just to save yourself a lot of heartache. That's another reason, and I haven't always done that in the past, but another reason I like to pull the fuel from the tank all the way through the pump if I can before I run it through the carburetor, because there may be still some old junk in that old pump that I can get out. We're getting ready to find out. All right, so we've got our fuel line hooked to the inlet fuel line of the carburetor. We're gonna plug this pump into the battery, and we will try to pour it into this glass jar just so we can kind of get a good look at what we pulled out of it. Oh, guess what? It's not going to pull out. I didn't hook the fuel line back to the fuel pump. There it comes. There it's pulling some. So that's pulling that out of the tank and through the fuel pump. What I want to do, I want to turn that motor over with that pump cycle. So yeah, that let that manual pump cycle a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's all I wanted to see. So now we got fuel coming through the fuel pump all the way up to the carburetor. And it looks nice and clean. And that got our fuel pump primed. That old pump is, at least it's wet now. It's not all dry, but that pump's not real old. I mean, it looks like it's been recently replaced, but still, I don't know what somebody else might have pumped into it. Now we'll get that fuel line hooked back to the carburetor. We can use that fuel right there, pour down in the carburetor and get it running. And hopefully the fuel pump will take over, fill the bowl up, and this thing will run on its own. We'll see. All right, I think I got you guys in a place where you can see. A couple of these tools up. Go over here and turn the ignition switch on. Then we'll pour a little bit of this fuel. It's got a little trash in it, but we're not pouring it in the bowl. We're just pouring it right down the intake. We'll give it a good drink. Let's see if it'll crank up and run, and hopefully the fuel pump will take over. There it is. I believe the fuel pump just took over. Sounded pretty good besides that exhaust leak. Doesn't seem to be smoking out the tailpipe. I don't see any leaks underneath. Hopefully it won't overheat. Some nasty old stuff in the radiator, but it's flowing. You can see it in there. The water's, the antifreeze is moving through the radiator already. telling me it probably don't have a thermostat in it. Yeah, we're gonna leak right there. That hose is leaking. It's busted. That's gonna be spewing anytime. Let's see if she'll cut off and crank back up from the inside. Using the key. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Well, it's kind of cold here. It went from summer to winter overnight. I feel very good about this. It doesn't seem like it wants to overheat. I do have a cracked heater hose that is leaking, and I need to get that repaired. It's too short and too hard to try to shorten. So I'm gonna have to go get some hose unless I've got some here that I forgot about. So I don't want to run it to the point where that starts spewing. So if I can't find some hose, I'm gonna go to the stove, get some heater hose. But yeah, I mean, it don't smoke. There's no, it doesn't seem to be any back pressure like coming out of the crankcase from wore out rings or something like that. It runs real smooth and even. It's got a little tap in there. It sounds like probably a worn rocker. That's going to be very common in an engine that old. And thing is too, somebody has had the head off and did a head gasket, so I don't know, they may not have adjusted the valves properly. So I may have to go through and adjust the valves. So we have got to see if we have any heater hose here. I don't think that we do. Okay, I went and got a heater hose and got it put on. I've got us a custom seat in here. We're going to give this thing a little field drive and just see how the brakes feel, see how the clutch feels, see how this shifter feels. Man, what a steering wheel. All that old plastic is just disintegrated. All right, clutch feels good. Let's see if she'll go into reverse. Oh yeah, we're moving. We're moving. Yeah, reverse. Nothing wrong with reverse. First gear. First gear don't feel too bad. Let's see if she'll drop up into second gear. Feels good. Second gear. Second gear. Yes, feels very good. Very good. Oh man, that transmission is crisp. Crisp. And the brakes work. Oh my goodness. This thing ran great. I mean, the carburetor takes the fuel, the brakes, stop the vehicle, the shifter shifts crisp and smooth, which is usually a rarity on these this old. Really crazy for as long as it sit. And like I said, I know somebody's messed with it, but I showed you the brakes. Obviously, the brakes hadn't been messed with in the past. Look at how old the master cylinder is. It's just incredible that some of this stuff is still working well. So at this point, we'll go ahead and get it back on the lift, and I'll go ahead and get the wheels back off of it and go ahead and go through the process of lowering it. And we'll get the front brakes replaced and go ahead and check the back brakes just to make sure everything's safe. We've got an axle swap kit coming to swap that from 6 lug to 5 lug. It's supposed to be here sometime next week. So what I'll do is the rest of this day, I only got a couple hours left. The rest of this day, and then tomorrow, I'll go ahead and get the brakes right on it and get it lowered. And then we'll just be waiting on that axle swap kit. We'll pull the actual axles out of the axle housing and put new ones in there. Okay, so 71, we're back on it. I always say we're back on it because I'm flip-flopping back and forth a lot of times. I've been messing with that 62 there. So what I'm doing now, let's see, I've got the brakes changed on both sides, got new brakes. We got the engine running. You've seen that. It drove yesterday really good. Had a good brake pedal, but the front brakes were wore out. So we've got new brakes on it. We'll check the rear brakes when we change the axles out. I'm not worried about that right now. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get our bump stops cut off. And I'm going to cut the spring around and 3/4 like we usually do. I'm not going to video that whole process. I've done that in the older videos. You can go back and watch that. I may video one side or a little bit of it, but I'm not going to bore you with all that. On this truck, we're going to end up doing I think we're going to do the rockers. Overall, this truck is really pretty solid. Even like the cab mounts and everything are solid. It's just got some rocker panel issues. So it's got a good look to it. I think this will be a really nice build. All right, so what I'm going to do here, I've got the jack or the truck lifted up on the jack. I've got it sitting on its locks. I'm just going to torch the springs and let the rear end just drop down on those jacks. And then from that point, I can get my U-bolts out, get the blocks in, and it'll be easier to get to go ahead and get those bolts out, the spring bolts out, with the springs being cut. Yeah, very good. So now all we gotta do is just pop my U-bolts off. I think we've got a new set of coil springs here and a new set of blocks. Lowering block and U-bolt kit. Lowering rear springs. So see, now I can get to these bolts right here a lot easier. Because we're not going to, those old springs aren't worth anything. They're just junk. Uh-oh, I got a little fire going on here. We'll set this burning. Get it out there where it won't matter. All right, see, now we've got good access to our spring perch bolt on the bottom side anyway. That'll be real easy to get to for us. We can go ahead and get our springs mounted there. The top one's still not as easy. You gotta get up on the other side of that bolt with a nut or with a wrench. Those are always hard. Sometimes you can't get them loose, you gotta torch them out. It's just that simple. Well, that wasn't too bad. So that went better than most. So coil spring perch, both sides they're off. U-bolts are out. So let's show you what we've got in these boxes right here. That's always exciting. I lost my pocket knife somewhere between yesterday and today. It's probably up in the cab of that truck. So you see, we've got some brand new springs in this box here. What we'll do is we'll go ahead and mount them. Go ahead and mount them up here, and then we can just swing the lower arm up to it. And what you're going to have now is an extension to go up through that coil spring, whereas before you didn't need that. But now you do. Now you do. Need a 1/2-inch driver extension, just like this. We still have our wrench up here so we can get on our nut. Make sure the wrench is turned the right way. All right. So there you go. We've got that spring mounted. Very good. We'll go do that on the other side and continue on. All right, on the 71, Mike, our metal guy, he did have time to come and do the metal. So as you see, he's replaced, already got the rockers in. The cab corners, working on new door panels. We've got our axle kit here, so I'll do that soon. Brand new rocker panel here. New bottom piece here. Yeah, so what we have here is this box has our 5-lug axles in it. This box has our drums. What I'm doing right now is I'm crawling up under here to take the cover off of the differential so we can pull these axles out. Mike's got all his rust work done and finished. He's got his new rockers put in. Got some insulation laid down on the floor. Everything's looking real clean and nice. Got some new door panels put on. There's a new steering wheel that's going to be going in place of that old one. So I've been already up under here, and I've got my bolts out of my differential cover. I've got one bolt still on the top. We'll see if we can crack this thing loose and let it drain. Ooh, man, that thing is on there. Thing's always got to be just a little bit harder than you want it to be. Somebody's had this apart before, probably, and glued it together. Yeah, so here we go. This thing draining. All right, so I do have both the old axles out. I've already put one new one in. They are matching up. I'll show you how the other side goes in. So the new axle is in. All the way into the spider gear. You can see the tip of it. So what we do now is we take our C-clip, we slide it into that groove on that axle. And you can't see anything but my watch. And then we push the axle back into the spider gear and see where we at. There we are. That's the tip of each axle as the C-clip is holding them into the spider gear. Now we'll just put our cover on. I apologize for being all over the place. Just put our cover on. I'll have to get that old gasket off. But yeah, there's nothing to it. Well, actually, we're not done. We got to slide our pin back in there. This pin locks our spider gears together. Just like that. And then after that is done, you gotta put your lock bolt in. And tighten that down. All right, guys, here we are on this 71 again. I apologize. I got so distracted with getting it done. Kind of fell behind on my recording. But let's see, we got the seat bolted back in it. We got the new seat cover put on, new steering wheel. I'm putting the dash in there right now. It's kind of a new dash pad. It's a real challenge, kind of a pain, you'd say. Got the new rocker panels painted. Let's see. I was trying to film or record the installation of those axles, which they're in. I've got the brakes adjusted up, but we never could get fluid to the wheel cylinders, so I don't know what's going on with that yet. We did have brake fluid dripping down the firewall inside here, so we know we have a bad master cylinder. But we had brake pressure, so I feel like there's some clogged going to the rear brakes or the proportioning valve. So we're going to figure that out for sure. But yeah, I mean, it's coming along. Sometimes you just get so wrapped up in trying to get the work done, the job done, because these are jobs that have to move to pay the bills, you know. So Mike did that, and I had some jobs other places, and I didn't really get to do any filming as he did those repairs. So not a big deal. We got some new tail lights, new tail light trim. So yeah, today I need to get the dash pad finished, get some brake pressure to the rear, and get the master cylinder on it, and maybe get the new wheels on it, get this thing buttoned up. That's the plan for today, to get it buttoned. Okay, so we've got our new master cylinder out of the box, and this thing is aluminum. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, usually they're steel, but it's brand new, so I went ahead and months ago made me up some hard lines for bench bleeding these things. We do so many of them, and they're all the same. Anymore, they give you these plugs to put in, and you're supposed to push the piston in and push the fluid against that instead of pushing it through this line. But I find it takes forever and a day to bleed it that way. I like to do it this old school way. It's so much faster for me. I don't know, maybe you guys got something figured out that I don't for bleeding master cylinders. Oh, you already got the seal plates in. Fast. 1971. Turned out nice. Really looks good. The little 6-cylinder 3-speed runs really good too.